I wish the best for your son, and I wish you good health, and your case is dismissed.
Frank Caprio wasn't just a judge. He was America's grandfather, a man whose courtroom became a place of mercy, humanity, and hope. Millions watched him on Caught in Providence, not for drama or scandal, but for the rare, simple truth of seeing justice handled with compassion. People laughed, cried, and saw themselves reflected in his kindness. But behind the warm smile and twinkling eyes was a man who had faced unimaginable hardships, who carried the weight of the world quietly on his shoulders. In November 2023, that weight became more personal. A devastating pancreatic cancer diagnosis struck, just as his family uncovered truths that would make the world see him in a new light. Critics whispered, friends wondered, and yet, through it all, Frank remained unbroken. His story isn't just about law. It's about love, sacrifice, and the courage to see the humanity in everyone, even those society had written off. Tonight, we tell the story of the man behind the robe, the boy from Federal Hill, and the legacy he left behind. Frank Caprio was born on November 24th, 1936, into a freezing, cramped apartment on Federal Hill in Providence, Rhode Island. His childhood home, known as a cold water flat, had no hot running water. Heat came from a small pot-bellied stove, its oven door cracked open to warm the icy rooms. Showers meant trips across the street to a public bathhouse. But warmth was never lacking in love. Antonio and Filomena Caprio, Italian immigrants with little material wealth, made every corner of that tiny apartment a haven. Antonio delivered milk before dawn, woke Frank and his brothers to help, and silently instilled the value of work and perseverance. Filomena, quiet yet fierce, gave her children lessons in generosity, often sacrificing her own needs to help neighbors survive. Their example shaped Frank's moral compass. Poverty taught him resilience. Love taught him empathy. Every hardship became a lesson, and every struggle a seed for the extraordinary man he would become. Those early mornings, shining shoes, and delivering newspapers weren't just chores. They were the foundation of a life devoted to others. By the time Frank was a teenager, his life was already a testament to grit. Juggling 3 jobs, he washed dishes, delivered newspapers, and helped his father on milk routes, all before school. Despite blistered hands and sleepless nights, he excelled academically and physically, wrestling his way to the Rhode Island State Championship in 1953. At Providence College, he worked midnight shifts assembling newspapers and cleaning cars, financing his education entirely on his own. Graduation in 1958 was not just a personal triumph, it was a family victory. His father, who had labored silently for decades, wept tears of pride. Yet Frank wasn't finished. Teaching American government at Hope High School satisfied him only partially. Ambition called. Law school in Boston demanded more. Long night drives, 7 years of relentless study, teaching during the day, and barely any sleep. Every moment tested him. Every challenge shaped him. He learned early that success wasn't given. It was earned with sweat, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to others. This was a man who had known struggle intimately and would never forget it. In 1965, Frank Caprio graduated from law school and opened his own firm, Caprio and Caprio, on the same land where his mother and aunts had once lived. The building wasn't just an office. It was a symbol of full-circle achievement, a reminder that roots matter. Early political forays followed, including a 1962 election victory to the Providence City Council, where fiery speeches and relentless energy set him apart. Even in a campaign that ended in street brawls, Frank's resilience shone. His military service in the U.S. Army Reserve and Rhode Island National Guard further honed his discipline, forming the moral compass that would guide him in every courtroom decision. Frank wasn't just pursuing success. He was building a life defined by integrity, empathy, and unwavering commitment to community. The law was never a tool for prestige. It was a lens into human struggles, a mirror reflecting lives too often overlooked. Caprio's courtroom would later show the world that justice could be compassionate, that understanding could coexist with authority, and that one man's vision could inspire millions. When Caprio was appointed to the Providence Municipal Court in 1985, no one expected the transformation he would bring. Cases became stories, tickets became life lessons, and each defendant was seen not as a statistic, but as a human being. A woman with cancer, a homeless mother, a single dad walking 5 miles to court. Frank listened. He didn't just enforce laws, he understood them in context. The Philomena Fund, named for his mother, became a lifeline. A few dollars from strangers, passed forward to those in need, became symbols of hope and trust. The public began noticing. Caught in Providence, initially grainy local footage, captured raw moments of humanity. A man with 92 cents in his pocket had his fine paid. A struggling mom with fibromyalgia received not just leniency, but financial support. The courtroom wasn't just a stage, it was a sanctuary. Caprio's subtle nods, patient listening, and quiet acts of kindness rewrote the way justice was perceived, proof that fairness and compassion could coexist. By the early 2000s, Caught in Providence had gone national, capturing hearts across America. Viewers witnessed ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges, and Frank's quiet empathy became a movement. From single parents to veterans, each story highlighted his belief in the humanity behind the law. Viral clips showed a 96-year-old father driving his son to cancer treatment, a nurse after a grueling 16-hour shift, and even a man fleeing abuse, all met with understanding instead of punishment. Social media spread these moments like wildfire, accumulating billions of views. Yet Caprio never sought fame. He only sought to do what was right, quietly, consistently, and with integrity. Critics occasionally questioned his methods, but the results spoke for themselves. Repeat offenses dropped. Families stayed together. Lives were rebuilt. Through every viral video, every heart-wrenching case, Frank Caprio reminded the world that justice is most powerful when it is human. Frank Caprio's greatest foundation wasn't a law firm or courtroom. It was his family. Married to Joyce in 1965, they raised 5 children in a home where dinner tables doubled as classrooms in ethics, integrity, and empathy. Joyce quietly held the family together, ensuring Frank never wavered from his principles. Children grew up witnessing discipline, generosity, and resilience in action, from shoe shining and dishwashing to long nights of studying law. Lessons weren't just taught, they were lived. Grandchildren experienced his playful side, wrestling and storytelling that tied the past to the present. Even amid heartache, the tragic loss of a defendant, the stress of ethical scandals, Frank never hid emotion. He taught that true strength comes from facing pain, acknowledging it, and still choosing kindness. Every decision he made, every policy he influenced, reflected the values he learned at home: empathy, perseverance, and unwavering belief in second chances. Beyond the bench, Caprio reshaped education and opportunity in Rhode Island. Millions benefited from the Philomena Fund, scholarships, and grants for low-income students and wrestlers pursuing higher education. Programs he launched increased enrollment among marginalized youth, created pathways out of poverty, and gave children the chance he had to fight for. But philanthropy wasn't just about money. It was about belief. He invested in potential, in human dignity, and in futures that might otherwise have been overlooked. Even policies in his courtroom reflected this. Fines proportional to income, empathy training for judges, and reforms ensuring that the law serve humanity, not just punishment. Frank Caprio proved that one man could create a ripple effect of systemic change, that compassion could scale, and that justice, when infused with empathy, could transform society. In November 2023, Frank Caprio faced his toughest challenge: pancreatic cancer. Treatment began immediately, yet he remained committed to his family and his values. Chemotherapy, radiation, fatigue, and fear tested him, but never broke him. His final messages to the public, full of hope and gratitude, revealed a man at peace yet aware of mortality. Surrounded by Joyce and their 5 children, he passed away on August 20th, 2025, at 88, leaving a legacy that transcended titles or fame. Caught in Providence surpassed 1 billion views. His book became a law school staple, and his courtroom lessons echoed nationwide. Caprio didn't just interpret the law, he redefined it. Justice, he showed, is human first. Leniency isn't weakness. Empathy isn't optional. And above all, one person's kindness can change the world. One story, one fine, one life at a time.